What's going on? Welcome to another edition of, I guess this would be like an itty bitty podcast presents. It's not really like an itty bitty podcast. It's not really a Choice Nugs only. It's kind of a bonus episode just to give you guys some content while you're stuck inside. So yeah, my buddy Hawaii stopped by. If you've listened to the show before, you've heard his shenanigans and some of the stories that we've told. So we talk about the coronavirus. We tell some stories from back in the day. We're two fucking morons, so we have really no idea what's going on. But if you'd like to listen and hang out with us for a little bit, get it started. So I'm not going to do the thing because this is technically not an itty bitty podcast episode, but yeah, strap in for IBPC presents a bonus episode.
Welcome to the Itty Bitty Podcast. It's the Itty Bitty Podcast. It's the Itty Bitty Podcast. The Itty Bitty Podcast.
All right, so we're rolling. I don't even know which show I'm going to put this on. Might just be a bonus episode. So, what's up, dog?
Nice.
Fucking. I'm Perry, and Hawaii's back on the show. So,
Hi.
what's going on, guys? I don't know how everybody's quarantine's going, but you're still working, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I'm still working. I live in Massachusetts. For no one that doesn't know, I'm just going to name drop where I live. So if you want to come visit me, you sure can. No, don't come visit me. All right.
Visit you right
we're
now.
doing social distance.
You gotta do plan for later.
Yeah, exactly. So, I live in Massachusetts, but yeah, so we're working out here. But there's there's been a lot of cases. Like we just actually got confirmed another 72 cases today. So I think we're up to like 328 in cases of the COVID-19.
The vid.
But I'm keeping my safe ass home. If I'm not working, no, actually, I take that back. I've been smoking mad blunts lately.
Ew, with other people?
With
other people?
Yeah, with other people. So yeah, I'm completely fucking just not doing what the government's telling me to do.
Hey, you're a rebel.
You know. Yeah, honestly, I got a little scared on Monday because I went to a friend's house and he had a bunch of his cousins over, and when the first kid walked towards me, I shook his hand and I instantly regretted it. Like it was just an instant regret. And the next kid that came downstairs, I said, not to be an asshole, but I'm not shaking your hand, you know what I mean? But I'll pound it because it's 90% safer, you know what I mean? So I actually, at the end of the day, I sent a wave across the room, you know?
Yeah.
I got a little nervous.
I don't think the handshaking even like matters at this point. I think it's like airborne. I heard some shit, but I don't know. I've heard so many different things that it's fucking ridiculous, but it's just it's kind of nuts.
It's crazy, honestly. It's out of control. Like everybody and their mama is like, they got masks on. Like that's the shit I don't get. Like, you're wearing a mask, but like, do you not understand that it's droplets like could get in your fucking eyeball and you're doomed anyway? So like the mask really isn't for like, I mean, it's just for show, for precaution, but at the same time, like this thing is like sticking its dick in your eye, like you're fucked either way, you know what I mean? So
is that the medical term for what happens? It sticks its dick in your eye?
Yeah, basically that's the medical term that you're gonna get pneumonia through the eyeball.
Pneumonia.
But I am still working. My boss had a meeting with everybody, so peep this, I have a story to tell. Okay, so on Monday there's this guy that I work with, right? And he's been talking hella shit lately, like just a whole bunch of shit about like that the bosses hasn't taken proper precautions to like talk to people and let them know like the situation, because I guess everybody needs a fucking hand and like needs a fucking baby, like I'm a baby, I need you to comfort me like through this tough time. Like no, like we go to work to get paid. Like there's no reason why they should be telling us what to do and what not to do. Like it's common sense. Wash your hands, take a shower, don't touch anybody. Like it's common sense. But there's this guy that I work with that he needed someone to tell him, that everything's going to be okay. And he also wanted to leave work for 2 weeks and get paid for it. That's not the boss's it's not the boss's responsibility to pay for your fucking time not being at work. You know what I mean? Like if you want to isolate yourself, go ahead, isolate yourself, stay home. But you don't get paid for that shit. You know what I mean? It's unless your boss actually says to you like, "Hey, I'm going to pay you for your time, leave." You know what I mean? Like you can't just you're not going to leave. So what they ended up doing was yesterday they ended up going to work and at lunchtime they fired the guy.
Oh shit.
They fired him because he's been making such a big deal about it. And then right after they fired him, the next day they had the meeting. They had the meeting that he's been so wanting to have. They had it, and they basically just said like, we're not gonna stop working if you just stay away. Because I work in a warehouse, and the thing's fucking ginormous. There's only like 24 people that work all together in the whole building.
Right.
So like legit, the closest person that works next to me is a friend of mine, and he's like legit 20 feet away from me. Like it's legit such a big building. There's no way in hell I'm gonna fucking, catch anything other than a fucking, nothing. I'm not catching shit. I was trying to make something cool out of that, but I couldn't find anything. So no, I'm not catching anything.
Did you hear about that dude who came back from the dead after getting coronavirus and dying?
No.
No, I'm just. I knew you'd fucking. I could have kept going with that too, but
you could have kept going. You could have hit me with a fucking elaborate story, and I would have been like, "Oh shit!" Like that sounds fucking real, And then it's like zombie apocalypse. Bang! Here it is.
Oh shit! I would have just seen you like the phone would have dropped, and you would have just been taken off out the fucking door, and I'd be like, "Oh shit! What did I just do?"
I would have been gone and like straight to my buddy's house that has all the ammo.
Yeah.
Be out of here.
Well, I mean, if they fucking shit, the fuck was that?
Wait, I'm sorry. I gotta turn my phone. I'm just a popular person, so I just get all these.
Oh, that was a vibrate. I was like, what the fuck was that?
People hit me up and like, yeah. Hold on, let me turn that down.
That's funny. It scared me. It's like, what the fuck was that?
You scared me.
But no, I feel like if they shut everything down, what do you guys like? What do you make in the warehouse?
What do you mean? What am I making?
Yeah, like what are you guys making?
Oh, what? Like, what do I do for work?
Well, yeah, like what are you producing?
Okay, so we basically make industrial toolboxes like Snap-on, basically, but it's called Moduline. It's basically like Snap-on toolboxes, but our name is Moduline. And it's the exact same thing. Like we make all different types of toolboxes, but like a lot of people from like the racing world gets our toolboxes. You know what I mean? So we have a lot of good customers. We have one account for the government, but like I don't really know anything much more than that we have an account with the government. But like they actually get a lot from us here and there. So the work's kind of slow right now, but also there's a lot of people that's not buying cabinets at the moment, so it's like it's already slow, and then on top of the whole coronavirus thing, it's super duper fucking slow. Like it's just out of control, So, but we're getting there, I'm still catching 40 hours a week, you know what I mean? And I actually picked up a part-time job, doing landscaping, so I work on Saturdays now too. So. Just trying to stay busy, through this whole crisis, trying to keep that money up.
Hustle.
How have you been? What have you been up to out there?
I dipped my toes in some stocks today.
You did? What type?
I invested in the company that's joining Barstool or whatever, the one that invested in Barstool or the gambling company. It's like
nice.
It's like $6 or $7 a share. But it I think that's gonna fucking explode once sports are back. There's no fucking sports on right now. Like there's zero gambling happening. So I think that's a fucking good one to get while it's relatively cheap. So yeah, I bought like $1,000 worth of shares in that today, and then I've just been fucking with shit at home. I reached out to a rapper about coming on the show. I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to fucking jinx it, but The only thing we're waiting on is to see if we fucking make it past next week. So if we do,
Yeah, right,
then
right.
this dude's supposed to come on. So I'll text you who it is after. I'm kind of pumped about it. But
Hell yeah, that's pretty badass though. You know, you've had a lot of shows. I mean, you've really been crushing it with this whole podcast. I'm pretty pumped. I mean, I got to get it on that level. I'm still on the ghetto side, just skyping from the cell phone. But I'm gonna look into Amazon and try and get some headsets and a microphone, and a laptop so I can really get on my game. I do another podcast. Shout out to Derek Fennell. Sorry, I'm just name dropping out here. Let's talk
he's
about
got his
it.
own podcast, right?
Yeah, it's a podcast. That's his podcast. We just did a podcast on Tuesday. And honestly, I've been slacking a lot with that podcast. I enjoy this podcast because you actually let me talk.
Oh, well, I mean, um,
You know.
well, we're coming up on like it'll be 40 episodes. It'll be a year in July, and
Wow.
yeah, and my daughter's supposed to be born in July, so that's fucking kind of crazy. But I was trying to get better at my whole thing was like I started doing remote interviews rather than in person already because I was
Yeah.
like I want to get better at those because I feel like if you can get good at those, then you can be a fucking monster at regular in person interviews. Because
Oh yeah, definitely.
these ones are a lot
Definitely.
more awkward and shit. It's like especially if it's somebody you don't know, it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like
Oh. Yeah,
so
right. Because then you really try to figure out what to talk about because you already have based on what you want to say because you're basically going off what their profession is or what their hobby is because that's like the reason why you have them on the show. But after you actually get that out the way, which is what maybe 20, 30 minutes tops, you have another half hour to really talk about shit. And it's like sometimes your mind just goes blank and you really don't know what to talk about. You know what I mean?
right.
But um, I think you're pretty good at making a conversation and having it last.
Well, did bartending and fucking sales. It's the same shit. I mean, you're just having a conversation
Yeah,
with people the whole time, you know.
exactly.
And I would have to
Just gotta
tell
catch
the same goddamn stories over and over and over again. I can't tell you how many times I told the story about when I first started dating Amy. I can't tell it the full way. So this was years ago. Like we were a lot younger and stupid, and we were driving, and I was drunk, and I was driving us home, and I completely missed the exit. She was passed out. Um, and so completely missed the exit, and I fucking turned around. I was like, I don't know how to get home. So we switched seats so she could finish driving us home. And when we got out, her phone fell out of the seat. So I don't tell people that, like we were drunk or whatever. But the next day,
Yeah.
we looked on Find My iPhone, and that was when it first came out. Like that shit was brand new. So we
Oh
looked and
yeah.
we could see exactly where it was at. So we went to go get it, and it was at some house. Like it had moved from where we dropped it to a house, and it was a nice neighborhood. So I waited at the driveway, and she went up to the door and knocked on the door. And this dude answers the door, and he was like, "Yeah, I was jogging this morning and found it." He was shocked that we showed up at the door. It's like an iPhone 5S or 5C, whichever are the color ones, the pink and
Yeah, that's the what are those? Those are the colossal ones.
yeah.
Those are old school.
No, the
There.
little ones. The little ones.
Yeah,
The
the
five.
little ones,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
five
yeah.
S's. Those are like the first ones before they blew up to like the 6S, where the screen got bigger and then you got like 8 cameras on the back and shit.
Yeah. But
And
yeah.
so,
So
but
I had to tell that
so
story
wait,
about 1,000 times.
oh, I honestly, when you started getting into it, in my head, I was like, this is 1,001.
Yeah. Yeah. But I never told
But and
about
that's
being drunk.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like when you have a conversation with somebody, you start bringing up random ass shit just to like carry on to a conversation because there's some stories people can relate to them. You know what I mean? Like when you talk about partying and shit like that, like a lot of people can relate to it, and you have to just listen to their stories. Like sometimes when I tell a story and I just have somebody in the group that like wants to one up me. I just let it go, and I'm like, and I laugh about it, but I know in my head he's completely full of shit. You know what I mean? But like people like do that to me because like I tell my stories, and a lot of people just don't believe me half the time of me telling a story of what me and my boy Perry have been through, like when we went out drinking or like your first time smoking pot and you blew the weed everywhere. We were in the basement in Brighton. Remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, we told that story when I fucking puked all over Dan's car. Yeah.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
picked up Dan's car, and those dudes came up, and they wanted to fight because we broke his bench, but we really didn't break his bench.
Do
But then
you
he didn't want to
remember?
fight because I was rolling like 5 cards deep, you know. But it's like that's the thing. You start telling stories, and then you get carried away, and then all of a sudden, bam, an hour's up. You're like, oh shit, like that's why I really like the podcast, but I want to start podcasting and like know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Like,
Like
well, I got to it got to a point for a while. Now I'm kind of in like a groove where like I can bust out podcast. I'm still not caught up on uploading my shit to YouTube. I've been trying to get like an actual video uploaded for like a week and a half. My computer's just a piece of shit, and
yeah,
so I might
you
just
need a
abandon.
Mac.
I know I need one. I'm trying to before all this fucking bullshit happened. I would like have a bunch of trading cards that I was gonna flip because the market was fucking hot right now, like I was saying,
Yeah,
and
it's
of
probably
course
so shitty right now.
it's still pretty decent. I mean, it's again,
Yeah,
it's people are getting in,
yeah.
people are still
Well,
buying them, and
well, that's the thing. I feel like maybe it actually might be a little better right now because there's a lot of people that's home and like you know what I mean, surfing the internet and shit, probably looking at eBay or wherever your cards are. Do you want to put a plug in right now about tell people where your cards are so you can get some sold or whatever?
I don't have them on there yet. I gotta send. I'm sending out one. I've got a fucking Pokemon card. I'm gonna
Ooh,
post
how
a
much
picture
did
of
you
it on
get
my Instagram.
for it?
Well, I paid $30 for it a couple years ago because I thought I have the original somewhere. I've told this story a million fucking times, but I have the original fucking Charizard somewhere, and I pulled it from the pack. Like that shit was like winning a lottery ticket when I was a kid. Like I remember did one of those screams where like I had no like my breath was gone, and so I was just screaming. It was just air
Yeah.
coming out. I was like, I got a Charizard. I got a Charizard. And the dudes behind the counter just looking at
Yeah,
me geek out like a
so
fucking
dirty.
idiot. And I'm pretty sure I put that shit like immediately into a fucking sleeve and kept it like pristine for years. But I just don't know where the
Facts.
fuck it is. And I was looking online. One sold on eBay for like $32,000 recently. I was like, God fucking damn it, 32 grand. So the one I have is a couple years older. It's a different edition, but it's still rare. And two
Mhm.
recently sold for 2,700. So the Pokemon card game is pretty well and alive. I like to invest in geeky shit.
Do you have any do you have any sports games?
What
I
do you
mean
mean?
sports cards.
Sports cards? Yeah, I have a shitload of sports
Yeah,
cards. I've
that's
got
dope. My mother, back in the day when she was younger, she had gotten a Steve no Steve Young. Does that sound right?
Steve Young, yeah.
Yeah, he's a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He was a
From the
quarterback for the
49ers.
49ers, right?
Yeah, after Joe Montana.
Yeah, right after Joe Montana. So my mother, that was one of her favorite quarterbacks, Steve Young, and she ended up having a rookie signed Steve Young card back in the day, and she got it for cheap, and she ended up selling it for like $500. But if she was to keep it like these days, she probably would have. It probably would have sold for like over like at least 10 grand. I think. I mean, it's a pretty.
I
It
would
was a
have
pretty mint
fucking.
card, and
You
Steve
got
Young
to
was
get it
nasty.
graded and shit. You want to get them graded now, and then when you get
Yeah,
them graded, it just legitimizes. You want a 10, obviously. So a lot of times, if you
yeah,
get, they tell you not to send them in if it's not going to be a 10. So I'm going through this service where you send the card to them, and it's cheaper because you don't have to buy a fucking subscription, and they get a discount because they get people to send them in money, and it's through a store. And so I
right.
checked all their reviews and shit. They look legit. Everything looks good. But you send them the card. They tell you if it needs to be sent back or not. They'll be like, "Oh, you'll probably won't get a 10 for this." And then they'll send it back to you. But the card I have is in mint fucking condition. I've looked at it 20
Yeah.
times and it
So
looks
when you
good.
say a 10, do you mean that by like the card has to be in perfect condition?
Gem mint 10. Yeah, graded 10 out of 10. So
Okay,
I
all right.
went to the fucking flea market the other day before like right when the coronavirus shit
For
was
the Corona
happening,
hit?
before the Rona hit.
Yeah, right when
And
the Corona was hitting, you were at the flea market.
there was
That's
literally
great.
nobody fucking there. There was like nobody in there.
Oh, I fucking bet.
And I'm walking around and I had to drive like an hour to get there, and I was just like, fuck it, like I need to find something. I was just trying to find something I could find and flip eventually. And he had this sealed pack of 1990 NFL cards, like sealed up,
Hmm.
so perfect condition. and I popped that shit open. So there's a few rookie. There's like a Junior Seau rookie in there, Cortez
Ooh,
Kennedy.
R.I.P.
Yeah, so there's some decent rookies in there. There's another one that had the fucking Emmett Smith rookie, and that shit was like
Yeah.
365. That's what it was selling for,
Ooh,
but that shit
ooh.
wasn't in there. I was like,
Emmett Smith was probably that was probably a real, like when he played for the Cowboys. I think that was the only team he ever played for. But
nah, he went to
um,
the Cardinals, I think.
oh, he
After
played for the
I
Cardinals
think he
too. All
retired
right,
with the
okay.
Cardinals.
See, that's when I really started getting into football. Was when the Cowboys had Jerry Rice, Aikman, um, who was that we just said.
Steve Young.
Steve Young, yeah, Steve Young. You know what I mean? That's when, and that's even when like the 49ers were nasty at the time. Um, the Rams were nasty at the time. That was like back in the late 90s, I think, or like mid nine like 97. Or no, probably before that, like because I was listening to Big Papa back in '92. So yeah, it was around that time. So like the '90s was probably just. I know you had an episode about the '90s already, but like, I really miss the '90s like so much.
It was a
Just
simpler
everything
time.
about it.
It was a simpler.
What?
I said it was a simpler time.
It was. Well, yeah. I mean, granted, we were kids and we didn't have a fucking care in the world and shit, but like just everything about it, like life, the way the air smelled, the way people looked at you in Brockton. Like I live in Brockton, and like it's just a whole bunch of ignorant ass people out here that just are just always mad at the world, and it's like I'm out here with smiles all the time and legit like I can't go through a whole day without being pissed off. Like it's just inevitable to not be happy,
Did I tell you what I
out here.
want to do?
Huh?
Did I tell you what I want to do eventually? What one of my
No,
goals
let me know.
is to I want to put a podcasting studio in Brockton. And
Ooh,
yeah, so that's what I'm
I
gonna,
like that.
because
So that
my
means you're gonna
wife
be
doesn't
moving
want.
back. I like that even more.
Well, they don't want neither my mom nor my wife wants to live in Brockton, so we wouldn't be living in Brockton, unfortunately. But
Your
that's
mom wants to live in like fucking like Woonsocket or like
she
somewhere
wants some
just
weird
far
ass fucking
away
some
from
weird
fucking
places. But
Massachusetts. It's
before we
the
get too
weirdest thing.
far off track, I want to, because we were talking about sports,
Yeah,
we should probably talk about fucking Tom Brady.
Tommy
I know
B.
I've probably talked about this before, but fucking TB12 to TB to Tampa Bay. You know I'm a Tampa Bay fan, so
I know, dude. You had some Buccaneers gear. That's right.
yeah, dude, I have like a fucking sick like Buccaneers jacket that I can bust out.
Yep.
I've got my Mike Allstott little. So I'm pissed that he's not gonna retire as a Patriot. Don't get me wrong, but if he's gonna
Back.
go to anybody, the
You
Bucks are
can't
like
hate
the.
on him.
Yeah, I mean you
You,
really can't hate on the guy. You can't.
and all these people that are hating right now, legit, are just trolling the internet. Like you can't hate on a guy that's gotten 6 rings out of 20 years and like just and like has the most wins and like touchdowns. Well, not the most touchdowns, but like in a single year, in a single season, like what he had like 56 or whatever. Like
Yeah,
just like really like crushed it. Like he all around did a great job out here in like the New England area, and like you like people that hate on him like are just either bandwagon fans and like are just trolling the internet or like have no idea what the fuck they're talking about because like they didn't want to pay Tom Brady what he wanted and like and he got a lot of pay cuts over the years, so it's just like why don't you hook the dude up? Like I wanted him to be the Paul Pierce of the fucking New England Patriots, and he's not, and
Paul
it
Pierce
sucks. Now
left
he's going,
too.
huh?
Paul Pierce fucking left too. What are you talking about?
Oh well, Paul Pierce left, but he came back and retired a fucking Celtic. You know what I mean?
Well, they might do some shit like that. I mean, dude, the guy's a fucking like, you know. I hope he does
I
well
just
in
don't
Tampa Bay,
understand him being nasty and fucking. I mean, I know Todd Gurley just went there, Brandon Cooks
dude.
just went there,
Dude,
but like
Brandon Cooks, I don't know
I
about
just,
him anymore, but him and
I
Tom
just don't.
Brady are gonna be good.
You know what? Tom Brady needs a Randy Moss right now. Tom Brady is
Dude,
on his last leg.
he's got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin to throw to, and
Oh yeah, no, Mike Evans is a fucking
OJ
animal.
Howard, OJ
Is
Howard,
Ingram still there?
who?
Wasn't Mark Ingram there for a bit, or no?
No,
Is he still with the Saints?
no, they've got too many running backs. Hopefully they stick with Todd Gurley, but they got Todd Gurley. They just got um, Tom Brady, duh. But yeah, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Cameron Brate's even decent. Like he's got two tight ends again. Like Tom Brady's gonna fucking beast in Tampa Bay. So, and they
He
have a
really
good
is.
defense too. They have like a legit defense. I was thinking before that they wouldn't have a legit chance at a Super Bowl, but like, dude has a legit chance at a Super Bowl with
I
the
mean, with
Bills.
everything going on right now and Tom Brady, I mean, I hope they have a good playbook for Tommy down there. So you know what I mean? Because he wasn't really
Well,
he's
it's
not
Bruce
what are they
Arians.
not
Bruce Arians
he's not.
was the coach of the Cardinals, so he's like a very pass heavy fucking type of dude. So I think
Yeah,
they'll
see,
be.
and like that's the thing. Tom Brady is he's a dump passer kind of guy unless you have a Randy Moss on your team. You know what I mean? And I just really, I honestly, I hope Tom Brady gets 7 rings before he retires, and I honestly don't care if he gets with the Bucks. But I'm really proud of Tom Brady, and like, I mean, that don't mean shit because you don't even know me, but like, I'm just all around proud
He
of him. And
doesn't even know me. You're in his heart though.
yeah, I know. Honestly, I'm gonna tweet out to him when I get off of this, and I'm gonna tell him how much I appreciate it, and I just hope I get a like. You know, I'd just be happy with that. You know, I doubt he's gonna point it out and talk about it inside of his daily devotions in the morning with his wife and kids. You know what I mean? But I just, I'm really happy for Tommy.
Yeah, me too.
He's doing big things right now.
Yeah, dude. Very proud of Tom Brady. But and he gets the
Proud
sunshine and
to
shit.
be.
But
Can I
Florida's
ask you?
crazy as shit though.
Yeah, can I ask you a question about Tom Hanks?
Go ahead.
Did Tom Hanks get charged with a rape charge?
I don't not that I know of.
I heard. Well, there's this crazy conspiracy theory going on right now that they're about to with that Jeff Epstein that had gotten arrested and he
Oh, I
faked
saw
his.
that shit.
Yeah,
Like
there was like all these
no, I
celebrities
don't
that he was about to throw out.
I don't
Huh?
think that's fucking true. I mean, like here's the thing. People that make a lot of money, like people don't understand how much a fucking $1 billion is. Like $1 billion is a fuckload of money.
I
And
know.
so people don't understand how much money that is. And so like when people get that much money, oh shit, are you still there? Hold on, I'm gonna pause this real quick.
Hey,
You still there? Okay, sorry, we're back. But no, when
dude.
fuck, what was I saying? What were you just talking about? What do you keep doing? All right, sorry, we're fucking back. But no, so I was saying when people have that much money and shit, like the way that they accumulate that much wealth is by having consumers to purchase shit. So like that's why now they're starting to fucking talk about giving people money and checks and shit because they want it to stimulate the economy. Like that's the idea behind an extra however much money they plan on giving us. Um but I mean that shit directly
Think they're
will
gonna do
affect.
that?
They're talking about it. I don't know. I mean,
You think they'll give us the $1,000 for everybody in the United States? Can I tell you something about that that I don't like?
what's that?
If you're not working, if
Uh-huh.
you're not busting your ass, or if you haven't worked in the last 2 or 3 years or the last fucking 6 months, you don't deserve $1,000.
Well, yeah. I mean that's fair. But
That's 100% fair. Or
but
give
here's
it
the
to the
thing:
people
they're
that
thinking that they're thinking that like you'll take that money and spend it on,
right.
to
They're
go
gonna
towards
spend
the
it, and then
economy.
that's what's
But
gonna make the economy or
I
whatever
don't
go
know
up.
who's
And like,
getting what. Like I just have heard honestly like the amount of misinformation and like there's just so much fucking misinformation going on right now. That's why everybody's fucking panicking because nobody knows what the fuck is going on. So nobody really
right.
knows if that money's actually coming or if they're saying by like April 6th. So I mean, it's all like it's a very fucking socialist fucking thing to do if you think about it, which is kind of funny, but I don't want to get into all that bullshit. Um
No, I know. Well,
but
I
yeah, like
just don't
supposedly
find
Trump
it.
said that he's going to do all this shit, which would be fucking great. Like,
It
you
would be
know,
great. I would be fucking great, but I just don't find it fair that people that don't work get paid $1,000. Like that's not fair. I think what's fair is that people that are getting laid off right now, they get paid $1,000. Like I wouldn't even care if they didn't pay me $1,000 and paid the people that got laid off and don't have enough money to fend for their kids or for their family. They take the grand. You
right.
know what I mean? People that don't work don't deserve that $1,000, and the people that are working don't deserve that $1,000 because you're still getting a fucking paycheck. But I understand. You want to give me $1,000? I'll take it. But people that don't fucking work don't deserve any of that money. It's just like welfare. Like people that are on welfare, like go out and live lavishly lives,
Well,
or how do
some
you
of
say
them
it?
do,
Luxury.
not all of them. That's a big,
Not all of
like, a
them,
lot of it is like what they tell
but
you
some
that
people
shit.
do, and that's fucked up. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
really fucked up.
Well,
I
I
did.
mean, I'm all for fucking companies paying people living wages. I think the idea that fucking companies can't pay living wages is bullshit. And
Yeah, fact.
so if people like if you have single moms and shit on welfare and like, I'm on unemployment right now, but like at this point there's
Dude,
enough
I
nobody's going
was
to be
on
hiring,
unemployment.
so
I was
it's
just about
like
to talk shit about unemployment right now too.
I'm on unemployment, but like I don't if they give me an extra $1,000, I'll take it. I'm not like I don't need the extra $1,000. I'm like I had money put aside, like a little bit of money put aside from like my last job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
So I'm
facts,
I'm
facts.
like,
And
but
but that's another thing. If you're not working but you have a disability, then you all right, that's understandable. Take the grand, and whatever. But if you're sitting at home on your ass and you're a perfectly fine person and you can fucking work and you're not working and then you like take from the government, like okay, I understand. I'm not against people taking from the government because the government sometimes takes from us in a way, I guess. But at the same time, people that actually need the fucking money aren't getting the help, and that's what's fucked up.
how do you
You know?
motivate people to like people that don't work to work? Like how do you motivate people to like you're somebody who works a lot. You're a hardworking person, but in the past you've had an issue with fucking calling out, and like
Dude, let
fucking
me tell you,
party. I don't know
it
about how
wasn't
you are
until
now,
this.
but
Yeah, dude. Well, and I understand that because, like, so me growing up, I just like from my in my 20s, I like just was down to party. Like, I just didn't give a fuck about life or how or what was gonna happen when I turned 30 or like 33, and when I'm 33 years old and I'm renting a room off people that I met on Craigslist. I don't have my own apartment. I don't have a car. Like, yeah, I slacked hard body, but like it's 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 all about your mind. It's like your maturity, really. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I'm a late bloomer, and like my maturity level has finally reached an all-time high at the moment. I've done really good this year, and it's only March, but I've only missed 3 days of work this year. But it took a long fucking way to get to where I'm at right now because I would call out or not do no call no shows and lose jobs left and right because I was lazy. You know what I mean? But also because I was a drinker. I drank every fucking day. I would go to work hungover, not want to go to work. And now I don't really drink. It's when you minus out a few things in your lifestyle, that's when you have like just a clearer mind and want to go to work and shit, you know?
hmm um, fuck, I took a dab before. I say this every fucking goddamn episode. I shouldn't have
Why did you
taken a
smoke?
dab.
Did you smoke a little already?
Yeah, I do fucking dabs, and so like I'd only do them a couple times a day, but I do them throughout the day, and it gets me high as fuck every time I do one, and
Yeah.
then I just always lose track of thought. But anyway, we were talking.
Yeah.
I was saying that some people like I know a lot of people have issues with fucking like I know a lot of people have issues with just not working, um, and I've always been somebody who's had a job up until recently, and shit just timing
Right.
just kind of worked out. Shit just always kind of works out for me. I've been very lucky. Like I shouldn't be in
Not
the
even
position
that.
that I am. Like I know these things.
It's
Like I know that I
crazy
shouldn't be. I'm
how
so
hard
fucking
work.
lucky. Huh?
Yeah.
What'd you
It's
say?
just crazy how people aren't working right now. Like how crazy that this coronavirus is,
It
and how it's
escalated.
just
Do you remember
straight.
the last one
All
we
day.
did? Do you remember the last
Huh?
podcast we did together like a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Did you do the? You didn't do the emergency. No, you didn't do the not emergency.
Nah,
Um,
nah.
we but the last time we talked, I mean, we were just kind of talking about how it just has been kind of weird. But like since then, it's just like it's fucking escalated to like everything's shut down. Bars are shut down.
San Francisco's whole city shut
It's
down.
on like shelter in place or whatever. They're talking about doing that
Yeah.
here where I'm out at, and like we're in the middle of fucking nowhere. So it's just kind of like we have plenty of food and shit. And I was talking about how I booby trapped the whole house. Um, my wife
Hell,
wouldn't let me get a gun yet, so I'm still trying to work that
yeah,
in. But
you're gonna need a gun.
I want a gun at some point, dude. I'm trying to get her to get. I'm like, we
I
should just go to
honestly want
Walmart
a
and get
fucking
one.
gun too. I just started following a page. All right, and just a shout out to all the gun lovers in the world.
I'm not
I
a gun nut
understand it's like
by any
different.
means.
Yeah, huh?
I said I'm not a fucking gun nut by any means. I would get a shotgun and that's it. Like I wouldn't get like like I don't feel the
I
need to
wouldn't even
carry a
get a shotgun,
pistol.
honestly. I'd get a fucking 22 or like a Desert Eagle or something like that that pushes punch. It's like packs a punch, but I can carry it in my back pocket. You know what I mean?
I'm talking about just at the house. I don't give a fuck about in public,
Oh yeah,
especially where
no,
I
I just want
live.
a gun at the house because I only need one shot,
Yeah,
honestly. you
yeah. Well, I'm like
know, but
I was gonna say real quick. I don't want to lose my train of thought though. Like a lot of people aren't gonna make it past this fucking whatever the fuck pandemic, whatever it's called. Um, as far as like a lot of people don't know like a lot of people don't know. I'm trying to think of the words that I'm thinking of. I'm fucking high, dude. A lot of people don't understand. Like a lot of people don't understand struggle, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like a lot
yeah,
of people don't understand
yeah,
like how to, like people like you and me. Like I moved to California when I was 21 and I had less than like probably $300 to my name, and I got fucking kicked out of my dad's fairly quickly after moving out there because I stole a Xanax from him and shit, and ended up like having to pull some shit together. I don't know how I did it, but I ended up living in like I got a little help from my godmother and my mom. I think helped me out a little bit so I could stay out there because I was gonna come back to Mass. Like remember everybody had bets on when I would come back after leaving,
yeah, right,
and that
yeah,
was like 4 months in, and I was like, I got a letter that I
yeah.
owed a
Well, that's
shitload
and
of
we had
money.
bet that you weren't gonna last that long.
Well, what happened was I got fucking kicked out. I had moved out there with very little money. I had a job when I was there. And then I found a place, but it was pretty expensive to move in. And then after I moved in, I got all that shit covered. And then I got a bill for like some IRS shit for a job that I worked at, that HVAC company I worked at with Dan. Not your
With
brother, but
Dan,
the other Dan.
there,
Yeah.
yeah,
And so I got fucked from that for like a couple grand. So I thought I was gonna be fucked. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to come back. And somehow I managed
right.
and like made it and fucking
Mm-hmm.
didn't.
Because you know the power of struggle and you know how to come up.
Yeah. So I think some people are just gonna be. It's gonna be too much because like a lot of people are out of work. A lot of people are like. I was already on this fucking online shit for like the last few months because I've been out of work since November. So I've been just
Yeah,
figuring out how the internet works. I'm like, I've got to be able to
right.
make money from this shit. So I've
Yeah,
already got a
it's
leg up
just
on
so
that
hard
shit.
to rebuild from being like cut down like we are right now, and then to try and rebuild from this and like get back to where we were. It's gonna be very, very hard for a lot of people, I think. Just because like for a struggle, like you said, for me and you, like for me, like I've struggled like ever since my mom passed away. Like I've struggled
I mean, you
hard
guys didn't
body,
have
and
it
that's
easy
funny,
before then. It wasn't
huh?
like I said you guys didn't necessarily have it easy before then either. It's not like
No, right, no. But my mother made it work, and that's what's helped me out through my whole life is that whenever I'm in like a rough time, I think about like my mother and like how she made it work. Like we didn't have food, but like we would have spam and rice for breakfast. Like
right? Toilet
you know what I
paper?
mean? Or
I
like
was born without toilet paper, motherfucker.
hey, shit, all right, we were washing our
I've
asses in the ocean and
I've
shit.
wiped my ass with a coffee filter because of you guys.
My mother used to say tissue paper.
But yeah, dude. So like, I think you just learn certain survival. So I think like there's gonna be people that are gonna have like, even though it's, all you really have to do is fucking shelter in place. You just have to chill at the fucking house. But there's gonna be people who have fucking PTSD, whether it's warranted or not. Like, you're
Hmm.
gonna have people that
No, because
like,
there's a whole bunch of faggots out there that just can't handle stress, and they call it PTSD. It's fucking
Jesus, whoa.
ridiculous.
All right,
I'm
well,
not trying to be rude about that. All right, I understand. You're a Marine person and you have PTSD. That's understandable. But if you're just a fucking bratty, spoiled American that like can't get through life, you don't have PTSD. You're
right. No,
just a baby.
I'm saying it's not warranted. I'm not saying it's not
Yeah, I
warranted.
know. I'm sorry. I don't mean to get offended. I just get really offended
No, it's
when people use shit like that to fucking get by in life. You know?
I'm not saying that it's just like that shit's justified. I'm just saying that there's
Yeah.
gonna
No.
be
No.
people that's why I'm saying like not everybody's gonna make it out of there's people who are getting fired who are like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, I bet you I'm curious to see what the suicide rate is right now. Like, you don't hear
Oh, I
anything
know.
about
Right.
that shit.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
you got to
cu-
figure all the small businesses out in America right now that aren't any getting business already haven't gotten business, and now you're really losing business because Trump's shutting shit down. You're fucked when it comes back, and yeah, there's going to be a recession for small businesses, and it's going to be bad for them because come back 6 or 8 weeks, there's going to be a huge like deficit in like money intake, and like you feel bad for companies like that because they're going to either have to lay people off or reduce their size, or you know what I mean, or like just it's going to be a longer nights, longer hours, you know what I mean, just to get back to where they are now, you know what I mean.
I
It
still
really
think that
sucks, dude.
they should continue that fucking UBI that they're talking about. If that shit goes through, giving people money, even if you give it to somebody, like, even if
Be
whether
fucking
you think they
pumped,
should
dude,
give
if
it
I
to
got
like,
fucking G's.
right, whether you think they should give it
I'd
to, well,
be
Bernie
pumped,
Sanders
dude.
wants to give people $2,000. I would be happier with two. But whether you think somebody should get money or not, like, it's if you're giving people money, even if somebody takes that money, you're like, oh, well, what if you give it to somebody and they spend that shit on drugs? Well, they're going to give it to a drug dealer, and the drug dealer is going to use that money to buy
Drug
shit.
dealer's going to spend it on something,
They're going to
right?
buy it on Jordans, spend it on, like, they're going to go and spend it someplace. Um, I think we're going to be all right. I think that if as long as they do shit correctly, which surprisingly, like, I've never been a fan of Trump, but I'm not one of those people
Yeah.
who's like fucking scream like, my thing on that whole shit is like the same people who who think that like Obama was the bane of their existence and destroyed their life, thinks that like Donald Trump is going to make their lives better. Like, it's the same, and vice versa. I think anytime you start fucking
Right.
thinking of politicians
No,
as
yeah.
celebrities and shit, rather than go through their policies, you've already fucking lost me in an argument. But
Right.
surprisingly, I think he's doing a fucking like for what he's talked about doing. I think he's doing an okay job as far as what he's talked about doing. We'll see how it gets
Facts.
implemented and shit. Like, he also
Yeah.
called the shit a
Right.
fucking hoax and took weeks before he
Yeah.
responded. So it's
And
like
he, and
you got to call it
he's
like you
coming
see
from
it.
a China.
Right.
Right.
So it's just kind
Because the
of
virus is from China.
China. We did a
That's
fucking
how he said it.
we did a
When
choice
the lady
nugs
was
only.
like, "You're racist," he's like, "No, the virus is from China."
He really he did say that
He
shit.
said it like that.
He really did. When we did the last choice nugs only, I did the intro and I was like, we're talking about the Chinese virus, and Alex didn't think I was gonna say that shit on there. He still doesn't realize like how fucking bad I talk on that shit.
Yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah.
I'll say some shit, and he's just like, "What?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, this is the show. Did you not listen to it before you signed up to help me out with this shit?" Like,
All right. He
and
pauses it like you can't.
and I'm like, and I'm too stoned to fucking edit shit. So like, what do you want me to do? And
Right. Right.
but yeah, so what the fuck were we just talking about? I don't even fucking remember. I'm already lost. I don't remember.
Talking about Trump paying everybody $1,000.
But yeah, so my thing is like, even if people are gonna be spending it, and then you've got to do like, I feel like you have to do something for small businesses and shit. Like, you can't just bail.
Yo,
Like,
they have
you can't bail out the
that
fucking
$10 million.
corporations.
Yeah,
Like,
that
I'm sorry.
$10 million bailout loan that you got going right now ain't shit. You're gonna give
Right.
$7,500, 75,000 to each fucking employer, small
Yeah.
business. That ain't shit, dude. That
Yeah.
ain't gonna do shit for people. Like I was thinking about that, dude. One of the salesman's salary at my job is like 65,000.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with that money?
Yeah. You want to hear
You
something that's
know?
gross? Is my part-time
Yeah.
job that I had that I got fired from. I've said this on here before, but I did my taxes recently, and it was like 50. It was like between 52 and 55. I can't remember. It was like 53,000 or something like that that I made working part time at my sales job. Fucking
Wait,
stupid money
wait,
doing
wait, wait.
what?
Oh, what were you doing?
Selling cell phones. But I made like,
No, that was your part-time job.
yeah, I worked there part time. I only worked there like 3 or 4 days a week.
Wow, and you're making money.
Yeah, I would show up and I would just fucking do work, and I wouldn't sell
You're
bullshit.
supposed to yell
I
at
would
your
only sell
manager and then go sell like 3 phones and go home for the day.
I would only yell at my manager. I didn't really yell at my managers, dude. They would fucking come up and try to flex on me and shit, and I would kind of yell at them. But like, it wouldn't even be yelling. It would just be like, talking
Said
assertively.
flex.
They just would. People don't like to be talked to. I don't know. I just hate that shit. Like, you're not gonna try to fucking run my life because you think that I make more money than I should.
Because
Like,
they might have a better opinion or say something that might better your life. Like, shut the fuck up. If I know that, but am I going to do it? No, because I'm going my fucking way. I'm going to do it my way. And when I make it, I'm going to say, I told you so, bitch ass.
yeah.
I
My
dig
thing
that,
is,
dog.
like, I was gonna try to sue them and shit for wrongful termination, but then I was like, nah. I'm just
There's going to be so much fucking money spent for no reason.
It is my plan is to just make enough money to franchise to buy that wing of that fucking company, and then just fire all the management, and then so that's my plan.
Honestly, I would do that just to fire. I would do exactly that just to
Just
fire
out
the
of
person
spite.
that fired you.
That's what I'm basically
Like,
doing. Them
that'd
and
be
then my
such a
bosses.
petty ass move, but like
So
glorious.
yeah, and then promote the people that I know are good that I worked with, and you
Yeah.
know.
And then I'd work there
So
part time.
that's my plan. Um, fuck. What was I gonna say?
Great.
What
Have you
else?
been cooking still?
Yeah, I've had to cook, more than usual now. I mean, I've already been cooking just because I've been home,
Yeah.
but we have an air
How's
fryer.
Amy? I mean, sorry. How's your wife doing?
You can say Amy. She's been on here before. She's good. I mean, I don't want to say what she does, but she's in direct contact um, with fucking
I know
corona.
she's been and she's staying protected.
Yes, for the mean. I mean, as of right now, it's been slow so far. She
Fucking
said
better, dude.
so, but we'll see.
I can't believe she's even doing that right now with the way she is right now.
It's crazy to think of like having to like I'm gonna be having my kid basically during the apocalypse. Like, this is the closest thing we have to an apocalypse that we've come to in my life. Like, the
Yeah,
closest thing we've had
yeah,
to
yeah,
something that this level was like 9/11 in my lifetime,
yeah,
and that was like on the
yeah.
scale of shit. Like, 9/11 is fucking small potatoes compared to like a
That's
global
what's going
fucking
on.
pandemic. Like, that shit's fucking
Yeah,
nuts. And so,
and like if this virus was a terrorist attack on the United States, like this would definitely be something like 9/11. But 9/11 was just in such a different category. You know what I mean? Like
right.
9/11 hit home, but it really didn't actually hit home. Like this virus is hitting Massachusetts like the plague. Like it's just like we started off,
Started with the
dude. Last,
NBA. When the
huh?
NBA got fucking suspended, that was when people, I think, were like, well, they make a lot of money. They wouldn't just fucking do that shit for no reason. And then it was just like
Yeah,
each day there was new information. And then
yeah. It was a
Tom
domino
Brady
effect.
left, and it was just like, I'm
Yeah, Tom Brady and like nobody even like celebrated. I mean, I saw you guys pictures and celebrating, St. Patty's Day and shit, but nobody out here in Massachusetts, like since the Boston parade was canceled and then the bars were closed, like there was no happy St. Patrick's Day on my news feed on Facebook
people
anywhere. It
must have
was
been
all
bummed.
coronavirus. and Tom Brady leaving.
Yeah, people must have been bummed.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to know the suicide rate though, because people fucking aren't really like if you're not checking on people, just like that you don't know or that you know, like they just
Yeah.
so I don't know. That shit's
Yeah.
kind of
Well,
crazy.
don't worry. Every one person that suicides and kills himself is going to be one extra baby that's going to be born in September. Okay.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah, that's how I feel it's going to go because you got to feel like a whole bunch of people is going to be isolating themselves. There's a whole lot of fucking going on,
Oh
watching
yeah, but
Netflix.
you're supposed to stay
You
like a
know.
certain distance from people, you know.
Yeah. So that's what's going to happen. People are going to have babies, and then people are going to kill themselves. It's the vicious lifestyle. I dig it. You know. Uh, just kidding.
um,
Just kidding.
have you
But
seen? Do you play games at all? I know you don't have a PS4
uh,
or Xbox,
yeah, I've
but
been
you get
playing
to.
through Call of Duty like an animal.
What do you play it on?
I play it on PlayStation and Xbox. Well, I don't necessarily have it at my house, but I've been going to my buddy's house, a couple of my buddy's houses, and they have it. So I've been playing with them. I'm actually going to go to my buddy Lou's house tomorrow, um, and he's actually been on your show, my buddy Big Lou. I'm going to his house tomorrow night, and we're actually going to play COD and have a campfire. But we're minimizing the party to 3 people, just to be safe.
Um, are you guys gonna be playing on Warzone?
We're gonna be playing online, yeah.
I'm gonna be around. I have a
Yeah, what are you
headset.
playing? You play on PlayStation?
Play on PlayStation though.
You got PlayStation, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, yeah, work,
And
because
I'm supposed to
that's
do
what
acid this weekend,
I'll make
but
sure to tell, because Sayman, what do you call him, K?
who?
K's gonna be
K.
K's gonna be
K.
Agent K.
Yeah. Agent K.
That's Agent K is gonna be with me too tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, that shit
So
should be dope.
that'll be a good time. Yeah, all in all. When are you planning on coming back to Mass at all?
I mean, it really fucking depends on what's going on with this bullshit. We're
I know,
planning
right?
on
You can't even fly.
we're still planning on our plan's still in effect. To be, I mean, we've
July
been
4th.
well, no, the due date is like July 17th, I think, and so that's
July 17th is my buddy's birthday.
yeah, and so we're planning on moving sometime after that. So we've been looking at houses and shit, and we've
Oh wow, you're
yeah.
trying to move out here this year.
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean,
Well, that'd be
it's
good for you
goddamn
because
fucking coronavirus.
there's a lot of great hospitals
Oh,
and a lot of good choices for her to make out here.
yeah. Well, we'll keep that on the
You know?
DL. But jobs, we know what we're not gonna blow up her spot. She doesn't like me talking about that. But job security for sure. So
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
uh,
Well, I mean, she could be anything inside that whole building, so not like I'm really blowing her spot up. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
well,
But all right, yeah,
she's a woman, so she obviously works as a receptionist. I mean, let's be clear.
yeah, duh.
I'm just
So you know what
joking.
I
I'm
mean? Sorry,
joking.
Amy. Sorry to throw you out there like that, babe.
I'm kidding. I'm 100% kidding. But
Yeah, all right, yeah.
yeah, dude, this shit's it's fucking nuts. I just I know people are like overreacting and shit too, because they don't know. Like I don't know. I've heard some people say that this
There's not
shit's
nothing to overreact about. I just don't see that either. Like I disagree with that too. Like people aren't overreacting. If anything, we are underreacting. We aren't acting enough. There's enough. There's a challenge on the internet right now that boggles my fucking brain.
where people
That
are
these
licking
young
toilet
kids
seats
are
and
out
shit.
here licking toilet bowls, rusty shit. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like you can get more than just the fucking virus. Like you
Right,
can
and
get
then you're going to
crabs.
the hospital, and then you
Yeah,
have to go to the hospital
yeah,
and overload the system while they're trying to fucking save people and shit. Yeah, I see.
yeah, right, exactly. You want to go to the hospital and be sick off some dumb shit because your dumbass want to lick a toilet and do the fucking Corona challenge. Like legit, I hope the news was wrong and saying that like young people and healthy people will have a better chance of living, and then they end up getting the coronavirus and dying because they're fucking morons. And
Yeah,
I'm sorry, that's really was really fucked up. I shouldn't have said that. But people, young people in America these days, if we keep going the way we're going, we're gonna be endangered, dude, in like 5 years because he's like we have so many moron ass kids out here. You know what I mean? Like whoever was the '80s and the early '90s kids are like that was like the last generation of like awesome people.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's. I mean, I think that's unfair to say about. I don't think it's a generational thing. Um,
No, it isn't a generation. It's just a selective few groups of kids that just baffle me. Like yeah, granted, I was doing a lot of fucked up shit when I was 18,
we
but
would be.
not that.
Have you seen those kids that went? We would be the kids that went down to spring break that were like, I don't give a fuck about coronavirus. I came down. I had this trip planned for fucking months. I'm coming down to spring break, and all the bars will be closed, and
Fat.
we'd just be getting fucked up in the parking lots and
I'd
shit.
be
Like,
getting fucked up on the beach drinking. I remember one time we all went to Hawaii, and one night when we were in Hawaii, we were drinking mai tais out of a fucking pot, out of a spaghetti pot, bro. Like just random four dudes in a fucking hotel room playing cards, drinking mai tais out of a pot with ice and shit in it, like swigging off of it, like just no care in the world, straight fucking asshole shit. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like that's the shit we were doing. And yeah, we would be those spring breakers down in Florida right now, you know, being crazy, but licking toilet balls,
yeah, that's
that
fucking
ain't my,
stupid.
my
That
that
shit's
ain't my
dumb.
cup of tea.
That shit's really
It's
dumb.
nasty. Like you don't want to fucking lick a toilet bowl after my ass has been on it. You know what I
I
mean? Like
know.
you
I've
don't
blown
want
up some
that.
bathrooms before.
You know? I
That
feel like
shit's
my
messed
ass has a disease.
up. That's
Jake,
fucking gross. Uh,
but
yeah.
yeah. So
Have you ever
I
seen the
just
movie The Happening?
what movie?
The movie The Happening with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, with the wind.
Kinda where people start killing themselves and shit.
Yeah, that like the wind blows a something certain way, and like it turns him crazy, and like the
Yeah,
guy
it's
with
supposed to
the
be
car
like the
shot
plants
himself.
or some shit. Like the plants are trying to get rid of a certain amount of people and shit. And so, like, what if the
Yeah,
coronavirus is the happening where like just trying to thin the herd out a little bit? Um, I fucking watched. I was
yo, that
watching Joe Rogan today, and he did an episode with Duncan Trussell where they like got super baked and they were talking about simulation and shit. And I'm like, have you ever heard people
yeah.
talk? We've talked about it on the podcast before, but that shit sometimes it gets too fucking. You're just like that shit. I had to shut it off because I was like, I can't like talk about
Why? What is it about?
like the idea that we're in a simulation, like rather than like you live and you die. Like when you die, instead of like dying, you get unplugged from the
You actually
simulation.
wake up into your normal body.
Yeah, and like that this is all like a simulation and shit.
If this
And
is simulation, then I want to cancel this one and start over.
well, that's the thing. It's like
'Cause
nobody,
I'm
but
way too fat.
but the way they were talking about it and shit, I was just like, they were talking about some shit, and I was just like, oh my god, I can't. I'm too fucking blazed for this shit. So I had to shut that shit off because I'm just like, they were talking about how the
Joe Rogan.
coronavirus would be like is like a glitch in the simulation, like in our body, and some crazy shit. And I was just like, oh my god, it was too much. They were
Did it
fucking too
make
high.
sense?
It started to, but I was also really baked, so I was like, I need to shut this
Yeah.
shit off. I'll probably
When it
turn it on a
starts to
little bit.
make sense and it's crazy, I get nervous.
Yeah. Well, there's just so much
You know?
fucking shit out there right now that it's just, I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to be like,
But
you know,
it's so crazy right now that if you have a stroke or anything other than the coronavirus, they don't even fucking test with you, or they don't like fuck with you. They're like in like Italy. That's the thing. In Italy, if you have anything other than the coronavirus, they don't even use any of their supplies on you. Like they don't have any choice to use it for you. Like they
right.
only use it on COVID-19 patients because like no other thing is as great or as important to them. Well, it's important. Everything's important to doctors and nurses, but like they don't have the capacity to hold you in a room, and they don't have a staff to look after you. You know what I mean? So it's really sad how Italy's been hitting and taking it. And shout out to Italy for fucking being straight positive and having great spirits, how they're doing, and like singing and like throwing parties on their balconies and shit. Like we need that motion, that positive vibe that they put off. Is we need that in America. Like we don't have that. We still have hatred in America, and it blows my mind because it's like we should be all working together and helping each other and being one and being like the great strong United States that we once was back in the 90s. We don't have that power anymore. I don't see it. I mean, I don't know. I'm a different person. I like happiness and positive vibes and shit.
The
And
one
a
thing
lot
I
of
have
people like that,
noticed,
but I just
the one thing I've
people
noticed
don't
is,
have it.
oh, sorry.
You know
No, the one thing I
what's
noticed
up?
is, the one thing I've noticed is that people aren't fucking bitching about like trivial shit as much. Like it
Yes.
used to be on Twitter, like people would bitch about, you know, whether Sonic the Hedgehog looked fucking accurate to the video game or not. Like stupid shit, like shit that doesn't matter.
Stupid shit that don't even should be bitched about. Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this is going to be like a reality check for a lot of people. People on like fuck wherever you like stand fucking politically or fucking socially or your ideology, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I feel like I hope people fucking learn something if we don't all fucking die. So just chugging that shit. Um,
I'm staying hydrated.
that's not hydration. That shit's gonna fucking kill you
Huh?
faster. But I don't think that shit's that bad. I think Arizona's actually pretty
Shut
good.
up.
Shout out
Shut up.
Arizona.
Shut up.
Oh, I thought you were saying
Shut up.
shout out, but you're saying shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up. Shut what?
Yeah. Shut up. Shut your mouth.
Oh,
Yo, you know what's the funniest movie ever? Just to change the subject real quick. Have you ever seen that movie Year One? You had to with Jack Black.
yeah. I think I watched it.
Oh
with
my
you,
God.
maybe.
When Igor, the big guy, he's like, "I'll kill you where you stand." That
I
shit
don't
makes
remember
me
that
laugh.
movie. It was Jack Black and the dude from like I don't really remember that movie much, but I'm pretty sure I saw it. But have you
Oh my
seen?
God. If you get the chance to watch that movie Year One, you have to watch it, dude. There's Paul Block, not Paul Block, but there's a lot of great actors in that fucking movie, and it's hilarious, dude. Like there's a lot of people from Superbad that's in that movie, and oh my fucking God, you have to watch it.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it. I'll have to rewatch it now that I have more
Yeah,
time.
no, you definitely have seen it. If you haven't seen it, you live under a rock.
Have you watched the new Little Dicky show?
No, I haven't. I've seen
It's
previews of it though.
fucking funny. It's really funny.
Is it really?
Yeah. And I was
What's it
like, you
on?
always forget that he can rap really well. It's on FX,
FX.
hmm
I gotta check that.
so it's
It
good.
has commercials and shit.
FX. We have it on Hulu. I don't know. I have no
Oh,
idea. We're in the process of getting
right.
rid of our Direct TV because we don't use that shit and it's expensive as fuck. So
DirecTV.
yes,
Oh,
sir.
you're trying to TV. Yeah, I know. Well, streaming's the way to go, I hear. You just pay for Wi-Fi and then you stream everything, and you can stream channels.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
It sure
We
is.
have too much shit though. We've got like Amazon Prime, we've got Hulu, HBO,
We
Netflix,
have all the same shitty
Disney.
ass fucking old fucking 80s movies.
Nah, I mean Netflix has good shows and shit, and sometimes they have decent movies. Um, HBO always has good shows. Disney Plus had The Mandalorian. That's all I've watched on Disney Plus. That's why I got Disney Plus for Mandalorian.
Yeah, I want Disney Plus bad.
It's
I
fucking
was thinking, I wrote a post to Netflix today, and I just told them that they should be playing really like they had Training Day and like Four Brothers and like How High on Netflix, and like for some reason they took it down. Like, why would you take those movies down? Those
They
are
put
like
on How High
great
2
movies. Yeah, they only
with
have
Lil
How
Yachty.
High 2 on there. Like, it's two. Like, I
I
actually
wouldn't
haven't
even
even
watch
watched it
it.
because it sucks.
It came on when I forget where it was, but I watched the intro and before I realized what it was, I was like, what is this? And then I realized what it was. I shut that shit off. I was like, this is fucking
Oh
terrible.
yeah, it's not even close to How High.
Right.
Foo foo. for us. Fuck you.
My favorite part of that movie is like, with all due respect, sir, suck my dick. That shit was hella funny when he's pretending to be the teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have
Oh
to
my
piss. Do
God,
you want to
that
keep
is
going, or
so
do you
funny.
wanna wrap it up?
I would like to wrap it up. I'm sorry not to be a fucking pussy, but I'm getting like lazy eyes right now because I think I'm tired.
That's cool. We've done
But I
like an
also have to
hour,
take a
so.
shit.
I don't know when I'm gonna put this out. I might put this out tomorrow. I might put it out next week. But yeah. So I don't know if this was fucking
Hear it.
what I don't
Either
even
way, I
know
would
what
like
this
for you to
was.
put
So
it out.
what? What'd you say?
Yeah, I said I wanna know how I sound. So either way, make sure you put it out.
You actually don't sound that bad for not having like a mic or headphones or anything like that. So I mean, shit, it works for
Good.
me. So, but in the future, I
Good.
mean,
I made sure not to be wavy on this podcast because last time I was hearing my voice and I was all fucked up.
well, I have an extra mic. Or I have like two or three extra mics that I had bought from when I first started podcasting. I bought like two little kits, and then I upgraded to better equipment like shortly after. And so I have the extra
Right.
equipment, but you got to earn that shit. I'm not just gonna give it to you.
I feel you
So
100%. Honestly, I've been looking on Amazon too, so I might just buy a nice mic and shit for like $60.
yeah, you can get decent ones. Go on like Facebook
Yeah, I want
groups.
to get a mic and like headphones. Maybe I can get a set for cheap.
Go on Google and just Google like best mic for $50, and they'll have a bunch of ones that you can get. So,
I'm gonna do that.
but anyway, fucking yeah, Corona apocalypse carries on. Fucking just checking in on everybody, making sure everybody's fucking cool. Call into the Hotbox Hotline 702-907-TOKE and leave a voicemail. Let us know how your fucking self quarantine's going. If you've just been sitting
Let me
home,
know.
if
All
you've just
right,
been
if you're
sitting
in
at home,
Massachusetts and want to visit me in person and have a meet
no
and greet, just
hugs.
let me know.
No hugs though. And if you're sitting at home and you've just been like, if you've exhausted all your jizz from masturbating relentlessly because you've got nothing else to do, go back and listen to every episode of both the Itty Bitty Podcast and Choice Nugs Only. We'll see you
Hell yeah, well,
motherfuckers next
I'm
week.
going back to masturbating.
Yeah. All right.